Hi, Brett and Hagen here. I'm Brett. He's Hagen. Episode 202 with you. Welcome back to the Skipper's View podcast. Going live tonight. And as always, brought to you by our partner, Chinook Seedery. If you want to get 10% off sunflower seeds, go to chinookseedery.com and use discount code The Skipper's View. I totally forgot to log in with my mic. I'm using my MacBook microphone. That sucks. So if my volume quality out there is bad, you know why? Because I'm an idiot. So there's that. Hagen, age is just a number, man. Uh, Rich Hill, 45 years old, getting it done. Uh, this is one of the most. I don't think people understand how miraculous of a situation this is. Did you get to tune into the start at all tonight?
I actually did not, which I was a little mad about, but I was able to watch the highlights on it.
Okay, so the Kansas City Royals took on the Chicago Cubs, and the Kansas City Royals won 8-4. Sorry, this is yesterday's game. Oh my good, we are underprepared here. The Royals, though, saw Rich Hill, who, for those who don't know, I'm going to share his page right now. He is an MLB veteran, and by veteran, he's 45 years old and making starts. The life expectancy at age in 1900 was 45 years old. So 47 years old. So this guy would be 2 years from life expectancy 125 years ago. Today, he is slinging in the MLB. Rich Hill has been on, what's it now? I think he said tied a record with 14 teams. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Edwin Jackson.
Rich Hill, 16.2 WAR over his career, 6.5 lefty, career 4 ERA. Look at this baseball reference page. Oh my goodness. At least he hit the MLB pension. He hit that a while ago, but you know what imagine they did amount of years. That's how your pension payout is, not what your contracts were.
I mean, I think he hit this pension before I even started watching baseball full time.
Probably. Um, I just I cannot believe. And so in Rich Hill's start, he went 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run. The Cubs ended up winning the game 6-0. But Rich Hill looked great, and 1 strikeout, 2 walks. Like, he got the job done. Um, it's kind of crazy that this is happening. I'm trying to compare it to anything in sports right now. Like, who's who's the last person to be an effective 45-year-old player in their sport?
I mean, football, I don't think Brady got up to 45, but obviously he won the Super Bowl up there. I think he was 42, 40, ran his 40s there. Bartolo Colon's the last 40-year-old I can think of, besides the Verlander and Scherzer. And I mean, I know it's not a Verlander conversation here, but he's, 41 years old, and he's probably got his first win on the season. It took him, 12, 13 starts to get that. Obviously, I'm not a big wins guy, but a win's a win, honestly. But pitching at 45 years old is insane. I mean, I feel like once you get to 38 years old, it's kind of like, what you can't really just bank on this guy to give you something here. Like, he's 38 years old. He's getting up there in age. You can't expect anything out of him, even if he's an all-time like a Scherzer or a Verlander. Because I think we've got a point with them where it's wherever you get out of them, that's great. If they have a bad start, they're really old. They play baseball for a long time. You can't expect them to go out there and throw 95 miles an hour at 40 years old. I mean, that's the thing that surprised me too about Rich Hill is 45 years old and he topped at 91. That's like where Kershaw's at 36, 37 years old. Like, it's insane to me how he was 91 miles an hour as a 41-year-old. That is extremely impressive to me. And I feel like that wasn't something that was really talked about that much.
You know how I feel every time I hear hockey, they mention Alexander Ovechkin. I'm like, God, that guy's a fossil. He's been playing hockey forever. He's 39. Rich Hill has 6 years on this dude. Think about that. 6 years, even between. You said Verlander was 41, or was it Scherzer?
40 or 41.
But think about those guys 4 years from now. 4 years. They in baseball terms, they're dinosaurs. It's crazy. That is something I feel like only in baseball, maybe golf, but unreal from Rich Hill. Good for him. Hopefully, he's able to get some real runway here in the second half. I don't know what the situation is with Kansas City. I could see Kansas City selling a little bit, given the fact that they're right now 10 games back in the division. They're 3 games under 500. I don't know how aggressive they're going to get at the deadline, so they might be shipping out guys like Seth Lugo. Maybe I don't know what Bubic's contracts like, but the Royals just looks like, as we're now less than 10 days away from the deadline, I don't think that they're going to be big time buyers here this year. But yeah, let's jump to. I want to talk about a guy who wheeled and dealed in his start this week. This guy was not voted an All-Star, even though he's 9-2, and he has a 2.4 ERA on the year. And that's Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies. Dude, how is he not an All-Star?
I don't understand it. Like, obviously, I'm a big Mets guy, but when David Peterson got named an All-Star over Christopher Sanchez, I thought that was bullshit, to be quite honest with you, because Christopher Sanchez deserved to be an All-Star in the first place, not even as one of these reserve guys. But if you just look at it too, like, Christopher Sanchez, obviously, he has a 2.4 ERA, he has a 2.69 FIP, 3.6 WAR. Like, we talk about Skeens and Wheeler all the time in the National League Cy Young. I feel like in the AL we have like these 5-6 guys we talk about, and this behind Scuba that we talk about that can be in the Cy Young race. But if you look in the National League, I mean, right now Christopher Sanchez is probably the third best pitcher. Him or Matthew Boyd, just overall this year, has been the third best pitcher behind Skeens and Wheeler. So you got to put respect on him. I mean, I think right now you could probably say Wheeler and Sanchez are the best 1-2 punch in all of baseball. I mean, who wants to face that in the playoffs? And that's not even counting a Ranger Suarez out there or Aaron Nola. Like, Aaron Nola's like a 4 on this team now. That's how good Christopher Sanchez has been. He's on a great team-friendly deal, too. He signed that last year. He's great at home, too, especially at home. I mean, it's phenomenal to see him doing this. It's honestly crazy. And most of the time, too, it's just the sinker and changeup combo that he's running out there. I mean, obviously a 97-mile-per-hour sinker from, I believe he's 6'5", 6'6", so it's not, it comes out at a crazy angle at you, but it's really special stuff he's doing out there. I mean, 19 whiffs yesterday, 14 on the changeup. 14 of the 22 swings they had on his changeup yesterday, 14 whiffs. That's absurd numbers.
Dude, I don't know. I must have been caught sleeping at the wheel. Christopher Sanchez has turned into, I think, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And maybe he's been that way, and I didn't catch on. But career, 457 innings, almost 460 innings here. 431 strikeouts, so he almost got a 9-9. It's not quite there, but for a starter, it's not, he's not a reliever. He's never going to have like over a 9. Only the elite guys have that. But he's got a career 119 whip. And this is through 73 starts. It's not like a small sample size. He's pitched in 92 games, earned himself 26 wins. I think, the Phillies, they have a nice 3-headed trio here, maybe a 4-headed trio when Luzardo's on. But like Nola, Wheeler, Luzardo, if they get all those guys right and they're all clicking come playoff time and they make the right moves here at the deadline, let's just say, why not? Alec Baum is on the IL right now. What's it going to cost the Phillies to make a trade with like Pittsburgh for like Heaney and Ke'Bryan Hayes? I know Ke'Bryan Hayes isn't. He plays Gold Glove defense before you say anything. And Heaney's a 4th or 5th starter for them.
I mean, you are right. He plays great defense over there, but I don't know if I'm really giving up anything for Ke'Bryan Hayes for a noodle. I don't know if I can give up anything for a dude who's just. I need someone who can actually hit at third base, and there's no disrespect to Ke'Bryan Hayes. He's a great defender. But on the contract aspect, too, just real quick on Christopher Sanchez, I mean, he signed a 4-year, $22.5 million extension last year, brought out the last year of pre-arb and the first and all the rest of his arb years with 2 club options on the back end. I mean, he's making $2 million this year, 3.5 next year, 6.5 in the year after that. Then in 2028, he's making 9.5. And then at his age 32 and 33 seasons, he's got club options at $14 and $15 million. I mean, that's below market value for a starting pitcher. I mean, I think we got to start looking at this as one of the best team-friendly deals in all of Major League Baseball, especially with the way he's been pitching this year.
I definitely think you're right, and I definitely want to that just made me have an idea. I want to go through and on an episode when we're in our downtime, not in the middle of the season, where we really evaluate the best team friendly deals across all baseball. I think that could be a really good episode for us. All right, well, Philly, they're locked and loaded. They are a very talented team. That's no surprise. Right now they're in first place in the National League East. Hagen, what, as a Mets fan, do you think is the move the Phillies need to make? And obviously, I'm going to say go into the bullpen. So if you have any weird takes on it, let's hear it.
I mean, I think bullpen's obviously a necessity. We talked about it last episode. Even after signing David Robertson, me and you both agree that you still have to go add an arm, maybe even two arms there, especially a guy who can go in there and close a postseason game before he has the experience to do so. But I think if you're going to look anywhere else to upgrade on this team, I second base you could save. I don't know if you're going to give up on Bryson Stott quite yet. But I think the other clear is center field. And I feel like we talked about it for a while now, where you see it in the offseason when it gets quiet. You hear the Mike Trout mock trades and stuff. I don't think it's crazy like that, but I think Philly's in a spot where we've seen Luis Robert this month has been phenomenal. The best baseball he's played in 2 years, quite honestly, until he took top 10 in MVP voting in 2023. I think Philly's in a spot where go get the best center fielder available, man. I mean, if you get Luis Robert, he's going to steal bags for you and play defense for you, even if he's not hitting. But even too, it's not like I think their bottom 5 team as a WRC plus wise or OPS wise, one of those, they're bottom 5 in all of baseball as a team in the center field position. So why not go get a Luis Robert Jr., take a shot. You're going to have to take a shot on this team if you want to win a postseason. We both agree this window is closing down. So maybe you buy into Luis Robert and what he's done the last month or so. And say, you know what, that's our guy. He can give us a spark in this lineup.
I don't think they would even have to pay a lot for Luis Robert Jr., even the way that I think it's June. What did he finish with? Didn't he 1 dot in June? I'm pretty sure. He's a super talented guy. It's just so inconsistent. That being said, the bullpen clear out. I said I was going to comment on it. I'm not going to go line by line. We know Kirk Ring's been down. We know Jordan Romano has not panned out the way they thought it was going to work. We didn't know that what's his face is going to have 81 game suspension for PEDs. What is his name? Why do I always forget?
Jose Alvarado.
Alvarado, yeah, sorry. And then
he was great too when he was on the field this year. He was throwing 102 mile per hour sinkers.
He throws gas. No wonder. Might will help. But Jose Alvarado, he's been a solid reliever, not just recently. The last few years, he's been good. And obviously, with the PED suspension, everything comes into question. But still, the results have shown. From you don't just use PEDs and get better at baseball. Right? That being said, I know that makes no sense. You know what I mean, though. It's not like it makes you more talented. Mechanics and fundamentals with baseball. But I think Philly is going to be one of the 3 teams I'm paying obviously, it's going to be the Yankees. I think Philly, and I'm super intrigued about. I'm trying to think, what team do I really want to I think Houston. I think they might go all in. Why not?
I mean, I feel like you should. If you're Houston, I mean, they're so quietly. I just don't know. It's because you obviously don't have Bregman there anymore. You don't have Kyle, but they're still, I believe, the second best team in the American League record-wise right now. And it's so under the radar. Where I feel like Houston's normally the team where you look. Even last year, it was like, don't let Houston get hot. You don't want to face them in the playoffs. And then it felt like after the Tigers beat them in that wild card round, it got a little quiet for them, especially after getting rid of Kyle Tucker. But it's just. Houston's still a scary team for me. I don't know if I really want to face Houston because a lot of that lineup is still had a lot of postseason experience too, and I think I can see them going. It would have surprised me if Houston won the American League.
I think that the 2 top teams in baseball right now, Milwaukee and Houston, are the 2 teams outside of the Yankees who I want to see how they do. And then Philly. Throw Philly in there because Philly, I have no problem with Philly. I know you're a Mets fan. You probably hate Philly. Philly, I feel it's a smaller city compared to the big boys. Philly is still a big city, but it's not New York. It's not Houston. It's not Dallas where the Rangers play. It's not Los Angeles. It's smaller. And I think that they go out and they're super aggressive in the market and they pay guys. I kind of like they justify the way they play, what they're doing. And I like the way Dombrowski runs Philadelphia. But Milwaukee and Houston, we'll talk about that soon. Or, obviously we got 8 days here to the end of the deadline. I think it's on the 31st at 4 p.m. Trades close. So we'll see. We will see. Let's talk about one more team. Definitely deadline interesting, but it's Detroit. They right now they are a top 6 team in baseball. They're 1643. They're a game and a half back in their division, which is, I'm sorry, not in their division, from top team in baseball. So they're right in there for being the top overall team. The pitching has been great. Hitting, I think they could add a hitter, and I'm going to give a little sneak peek for my piece I'm going to give out tomorrow. I am putting Eugenio Suarez to the Detroit Tigers. That's my ballpark pick that I'm going to go with. And I know Sam and Will, I will shout them out. I know that they mentioned this on their podcast last night. I did not know that until I wrote half my piece this morning. So fair game. But what do you think about Suarez to Detroit?
That's honestly something I'd never really heard before. But I mean, I said it to you guys earlier in the chat. It was just, I feel like a lot of these mocked teams that Gino's been going towards, I haven't really been big fans of them. I don't buy the Brewers, honestly. I just don't see them paying the price to get the most with the piece on the market. We talked about last episode. I don't know if the Yankees have enough to do so. The Tigers, they for sure have enough to do so. And I think the farm would still be perfectly fine without it, too, even if they do it. But I haven't looked into it enough. I like that fit a lot, but I also haven't looked enough into the Tigers lineup to see would they actually be willing to do it now. Or just because the only thing I've really looked into the Tigers wise is more like a 5-starter, where if it's a Patrick Corbin, and Andrew Heaney, one type of those guys just to help you get to the playoffs there on that front. But I really like that Geno mock to the Tigers there.
Dude, the Tigers are like low key. Their lineup, like they're top 10 in a bunch of categories, but they have Riley Green, Gleyber Torres, Zach McKinstry, who just was an all-star. Gleyber as well. No, Javier Baez was an all-star for Detroit this year. Spencer Torkelson had an excellent first half. Maybe slowed down a little bit right before the all-star break.
Gleyber is also an all-star as well, like you're saying.
Yeah, okay, so I was right. So Gleyber, Javier, and Zach McKinstry all made the all-star game, and those are like not three household names for the the casual baseball fan. Maybe Baez, but definitely not Gleyber and McKinstry. And you got to wonder, like, they have Tarek Skubal, who just had 11 strikeouts the other day. This is before they got swept by Pittsburgh this week. And they became the first team in baseball this year, 60 wins. You have the best pitcher on planet Earth right now in his prime. I think you have to go get a bat, especially like that, or be super aggressive with McGonagall. And I don't know if that's the right move, is being super aggressive with like a high-end prospect, arguably the top prospect in baseball. So I think they need a third baseman, or they need like something, because, and what I'm going to write about in my piece, or have wrote about here, is that you don't need, if Spencer Torkelson's down and McKinstry's fine to play at third, you can move Eugenio Suarez to first. You could also DH him. It's just another bat in the lineup, and I think that is the piece. And they just called up one of their top 10 prospects, Troy Melton, tonight. I think a bat puts them over the top to make them the American League like favorites, and that's also if Houston does nothing.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up the point too on Skubal and just how you have the best pitcher in the world. I mean, looking to become the second ever pitcher to win back-to-back unanimous Cy Youngs, joining Pedro Martinez. But I mean, after next year, he's gone, because I think he loves Detroit. Everything from my understanding, he wants to go there, but I don't know if the Tigers would want to pay Tarek Skubal $400 million. Like, it just seems like he's going to go. There's going to be 5 teams that are willing to offer that. He's going to be one of those teams: the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Phillies, whoever wants to give him that money. He's just going to be reserved for those guys. So I know you don't want to really risk your future, especially when this team looks so good right now. But it almost feels like you have the best pitcher on earth, without a doubt. Go buy right now. Go make your push right now, because there wasn't that many just roster-wise. I think if you just look at the talent on this roster, I don't know if you would say this is a World Series team. But if this year, the way they're playing and how they've been playing as a team, how they've been playing games late in the games, how they've been managing the team as well over AJ Hinch, they can win a World Series, especially if you added a bat like Geno Suarez in there. I mean, we know before, if you hit home runs in the playoffs, Most of the time, you're going to win. The team that hits more home runs in the playoffs wins more likely than not. Geno Suarez, he's going to be the player with the most home runs ever traded at the trade deadline. No one's ever had more than 35 home runs ever traded at the trade deadline. Geno's going to have probably 38 by.
Dude, Tigers, they kind of owe it to their fans. It's been 40 years since they've won a title. And they had Scherzer and Verlander in the same rotation at one point.
David
With
Price,
Miguel Cabrera.
Cabrera.
With Miguel Cabrera. That's 3 Hall of Famers. And they weren't able to. I truly, this year in baseball, no one has me sold at this point that they're going to win a World Series. I think there's cases for everyone, but there's no one I'm leaning in where it's like the beginning of the season, for sure, Dodgers, but it's like they're injured. They are injured. You can catch them sleeping. I think you can. But the good thing is they haven't slept through the season. Obviously, they had to deal with injury after injury after injury. So they've been in every game, and it's been highly competitive. I'm not as sold on the Dodgers as I was, 4 or 5 months ago. Needless to say. Let's talk about a really good baseball player, Hagen. And by really good, I mean Hall of Fame good. And that future Hall of Famer, his name is Jose Ramirez. He is now 20 homers and 20 steals in 5 consecutive seasons. 7 overall times he's done this. He is one of 6 players in MLB history with 7 such seasons. Is J-Ram first ballot automatically? Is that a dumb question even?
I don't know if it sounds like a dumb question, honestly, just because of how good he's been, and he's just going to keep doing this for year after year. But then you just know with the voters, it's weird sometimes. Like, there's only been a couple first ballot guys. Like, it's a very exclusive club where, whatever, if you don't think you're one of the best, they'll wait 1 year to put you off, then they'll get you on there. But just the numbers he's going to put up career-wise, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, it's just, even just numbers aside, just how long his peak has been. It seems like ever since I started watching baseball, 2015 was the first year that I really got into it. It seems like every single year Jose Ramirez is it's the same thing every year. How many dudes do you know are going to be right around 30-30 every single year? Going to be giving you 6 to 7 win seasons. It's insane. I mean, the joke is every single year you hear that Jose Ramirez is the most underrated player in baseball. And then it's like to a point where are you the most underrated player in baseball if everyone keeps saying you're the most underrated player in baseball? Which is the way I kind of view sometimes. But then we still don't talk about him enough for how good he is. He's a top 10 player in the sport every single year. And he doesn't really the only thing people say about him is he's underrated. They don't talk about him that much as a player.
Dude, Jose Ramirez, 276 career home runs, 273 career stolen bases. He's almost perfectly identical of a weapon between power and speed. And that's not only to mention, I'm looking at like his first year when he's 20 years old, 2013. He played 15 games. 15. He only had 14 plate appearances. He batted .333. Imagine he played his entire 20-year-old season. I don't know what the cause was, if he was ready or not. Clearly he was. Next year's a 21-year-old, put up 1.5 WAR, and he did that in 68 games. Dude, his earlier years are when he was not winning All-Stars. It's his recent years when he's winning All-Stars. He's 32 years old. He's going to eclipse 300 career stolen bases and home runs. I think he's easily going to hit 400. I do. He's only going to be 36 years old in 4 years, and he's going to steal more bags this year. He's going to keep compiling. On top of that, he is right now he's how many All-Stars? 7 All-Stars, 1 MLB first team. That's a shame. That's a tragedy. 2 times All MLB second team, and he's won the Silver Slugger Award 5 times. The only thing, he doesn't have team accolades, but that's not his fault. Cleveland doesn't spend money. Dude,
yeah. I don't know if you can really put team accolades in him where he's on a small market team where they don't really spend the money. I mean, they had the duo of him and Lindor, but trade away Lindor because you weren't going to re-sign him. I mean, he took the team-friendly deal to stay. But even, too, if you just look at he's going to go down as one of the best switch hitters in all of Major League Baseball history. I mean, right now he's 15th in F4 in history, and only 1,500 games. He's probably going to get around 20 to 30 more WAR in his career. If you give him 20, he's 5th all time as a switch hitter in F4.
Yeah, from my understanding, and this is via Dean, I think the sweet number for voters is like you kind of have to be above 75 WAR in order to get in, or that was the old number. I don't know if that's going to be true going forward with younger generations, but like, why can't he, average 4 WAR for the next 5 years? It's not like his last, if you just look at his last 5, 6 years of production, um, let's see, we got 4 WAR already this year. He's at 3.9, 7 last year, essentially 4.9, 5.9, 6.6. In 2020, he accumulated 2.5 WAR in 254 plate appearances. Like, dude, what are we talking about here? Jose Ramirez is so good at baseball.
I mean, even just I know you're looking at B right there. If you want to go F4, 2016 he went 4.9. Then in 17-18 went back-to-back 7-win seasons. Had a down year in 19. Only played 129 games. Had a 3.5 win season. Then had the COVID year, obviously. Since then he went 6.46, 4.6, 4.5, and he's already 4.3 this year. He's gonna get you 6 wins at least this year, next year, most likely. That's already that cuts it out. I mean, he's gonna get. I don't think it's insane. 90s probably his peak. You could probably say he would get to. I think 100 would be a stretch for him in that sense, but I think he's for sure got 75 to 90 wins in him.
He's underpaid. That's crazy to say. He gets paid $19 million a year. This guy should make $30 million a year. Like, he's that good. And then you got Giancarlo from my Yankees. I won't say mine, but Giancarlo, whatever he makes, it's like, are you kidding me? Jose Ramirez makes what compared to him? Jeez, the contracts piss me off sometimes because the wrong guys get paid way too much too often.
And I know, so you said you wanted to do an episode and more in the offseason about just best contracts in baseball. You already know Jose Ramirez might be the first overall pick if there was a draft in that.
It's going to be him, Acuna, or Skeens. One of the three. It has to be. Maybe it's Kubal. Maybe. But we go all day naming players actually for that. I got to continue just because we got so much here. Former third baseman Rafael Devers made an appearance at first base this week. Hagen, what are your thoughts on this? After the whole Boston dilemma with him playing first,
it's pretty funny to me. I'm not gonna lie. It makes it even more funny because obviously there was the backlash to the Red Sox side of things when the Devers trade happened. Obviously, it's going to take a few years to really play out if this trade was won or not by them. But the Red Sox have been one of the best teams in baseball since they traded him away. Devers has been a below-average hitter since they traded him away. He has not been that great this year. He's been striking out a lot. I believe it's a sub-700 OPS since he's got there, but it's funny to see him playing first base now and doing that, but I also do like that he's accepting his role there and saying, hey, I'll play first base for this team, and knowing that he can accept that now, and hey, maybe he's not going to be a first baseman full-time. Maybe, hey, maybe it's different if you give him an off-season to practice first base and you don't just on the fly, hey, you're at first baseman now. But it is nice to see him finally buying in with the team. You know, it kind of tells you, obviously he wasn't doing it with Boston, so you feel like he's in a good spot too, San Francisco there, which is it's good to see, but it's a little funny still.
Yeah, it has to be funny, dude. Like, I'm not playing first base for you guys who gave me a contract. Now I'm gonna go to the Bay, the Giants, and play for them and play first base. It's totally spinning in the face of Boston. Like, how is that not? Like, I know, I get it. He did not get what he was promised every detail of that contract, and he is well within his rights to be angry and want to switch. Because let's face it, anyone in corporate America, if they sign a contract with a large company, they pay them a certain amount, and then the company tells them they're not doing that job anymore, but you signed on for that job. You have every right to leave. So we're just, going after him because he's a professional athlete rather than, selling financial services over at like JP Morgan or something like that. But I thought that was funny. Last thing in the hot corner here, let's talk about Ethan Holiday. Just drafted 4th overall by the Colorado Rockies. This is the brother of Jackson Holiday, if you don't know, and the son of Matt, former outfielder for the Cardinals. He played with a few teams and the Rockies. Matt Holiday.
Well. Rockies,
he had
bro.
majority with Rockies, and he went to the Cardinals, and then the Yankees. Maybe was that?
I
I don't
believe
know.
it was Rockies, then Cardinals.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say he played majority with Colorado. Correct.
I believe I'll fact check you on that real quick.
Pull that up while we're doing it. But Ethan Holiday signs $9 million bonus. This is a historic number. Hagen, we talked about this prior to the draft about how Colorado was going to be the team to allot a majority of their, bonus money or bonus pool. Uh, the Holiday was going to command a big number. So, do you think Colorado made a good move here, allotting this much money to one guy when it seems like their entire team is dysfunctional and they needed multiple guys, not just one?
I think we all knew that it was going to be a pretty big signing bonus, and it was going to be arguably probably the biggest. We kind of thought he was going to get a high signing bonus when he was taken by the Rockies there, especially if the Nationals didn't take him. Us being a Boris client as well too. If you draft a Boris guy, he's not going to go off his price. If this is my price, especially when a guy like with Ethan Holiday can go to college and he can get the NIL money. He's that big of a name, and because he's been the projected first overall pick for over a year now, where it was he can get the NIL, he can make $500,000, whatever it is in college. So he doesn't have to do this. He can just go improve his draft stock even more if he wants to. So I expected this to be pretty big. I don't think anything different of it because I think Colorado had to take a shot on it because it's just let's draft a guy where we know he's going to work his ass off the field. He has Matt Holliday as his dad. He has Jackson Holliday as his brother. You always see the stuff about them working in the offseason together. They have the batting cage at their house. He's going to work his ass off there. I think you just had to take a shot on him like this. And obviously, if you're drafting him, you know that you can't just draft him and then lose that, and then you just wasted your fourth pick in the draft on a Jackson Holliday there. And then as well, it was 8 years in St. Louis for Matt Holliday and 6 years in Colorado. Got you on mute here.
How does that always happen when I hit the wire? I need a new mic. That's all that shows. Let's jump to quickly MLB injuries and roster moves. I'll just cover the AL real quick. So the Yankees, Anthony Volpe, I thought this was interesting. I saw the other day he committed his 12th error of the season. This happened in the series against the Blue Jays this week. He hit 17 in all of 2024. Anthony Volpe, I'm not out on him, and I think Peter Apple did a really good job with Just Baseball going to the defense of Volpe in their latest episode. He says it just correctly. Like, I'm not going to give up on a guy who is right now 24 years old. Let's let that sink in. He is 24. He's not ancient in the baseball world. A lot of prospects don't get called up to that point. He's won a Gold Glove 2 years ago. The bat, obviously, it's a little concerning. But the glove, I don't know what's going on. I think he needs some help, some confidence. I would love the Yankees to sign a depth piece that could play short or third because they clearly need a third baseman. And I would love someone who can mentor Volpe a little bit, just like help him with the confidence, maybe give him a day off here or there. I think that's really what he needs. So, interesting note. Boston's Tanner Houck, his strained right pronator, he's being shut down indefinitely. This is not good news for Boston. He was removed from a rehab appearance on Saturday when the injury flared up. He's been on the injury list since mid-May. Tampa Bay, they placed Brandon Lowe, who's been on a tear this year, with it on the 10-day IL with tendonitis on his left ankle. That is not good for my team, the Indiana Baseball Club. That's not good for Murderers Row. All my fantasy teams are affected because I drafted Brandon Lowe everywhere this year. I need him back ASAP. Houston, I'm so sick of reading this name for Houston in the IL list. Lance McCullers Jr. placed on the 15-day IL with a blister issue. So this is his third IL stint this year, Hagen. Dude, is McCullers made of glass? I hate to pick. They're all different injuries. They are. It's freaky. I feel for the guy. I do feel for him. But what is going on with this? 15 days on the IL for a blister? Is it that bad? Like, are blisters that bad?
I mean, it's just hard because if you're going to keep him on the roster there, you can't have him miss more than one start really. You have a blister too. You really can't throw on it. Like we see it. I think it happened with Jack Leiter earlier in the season too, where you have a blister. Like it might be the most frustrating injury as a pitcher because it's a blister on your finger. But if you start throwing with it, your hand's going to start bleeding and all that. So you just have to let it heal, which is just very frustrating. So I wouldn't say he's made of glass in that sense. Obviously, he's had a lot of injuries before, but this is just a frustrating injury here.
Yeah, I wish like they could almost get like finger condoms that would be legal for pitchers, like that have a grip, but like block, the nut because they're squeezing the hell out of a ball, trying to get his best grip on these laces as possible. This is not, and trust me, he will not be the first. He's not the first, and he will not be the last guy with a blister injury where he requires an IL stint. This is I don't want to call it an epidemic, but it's an epidemic in baseball. This happens to pitchers all the time, and it's frustrating because it is just a blister. But yeah, really feel for McCullers. He's talented. I want him playing baseball. I don't want him on the IL anymore. Finally, last two things happened with Texas this week. So they placed right-hand reliever Chris Martin on the 15-day IL with a strained left calf. They also, Josh Young was added back to the roster from the minors. He was disappointing, needless to say, this year. That pretty much rounds it out for the notable transactions of the AL and what's going on. How about the NL?
Probably the biggest news of the week was the Mets recalling catcher Francisco Alvarez from AAA. I mean, in his minor league stint, he slashed him 255, 352, 623. He was absolutely tearing at the competition. I believe he's top 5 in WRC plus for when he went down. And President of Baseball Operations David Stearns and manager Carlos Mendoza both came out and said that his improvements came a lot sooner than they thought they were going to see them. They thought it was going to take a few more weeks than it happened, especially defensively, where honestly, before you could get away with that offense, especially a catcher the way he's been. But the defense has just been very not good compared to last year. It's just taken a big step back. So it's good to see him back in the big leagues, already making big impacts as well in the first couple of games back. Milwaukee, they placed first baseman Jake Bowers on the 10-day IL with a left shoulder impingement. That will be tough for their team. But obviously Brewers are in a good spot now. I mean, believe they're still tied for the best record in all of Major League Baseball, so hopefully they'll get him here back soon. But this shouldn't be too big of an issue there, especially when you have Andrew Vaughn on the roster now. Closer for the Dodgers, Tanner Scott. He appears headed for the 15-day injured list after manager Dave Roberts said the reliever felt a sting in his left arm. He's going to require an MRI. I know me and you, we don't like the sound of that very much. And it makes me worried too, especially because he hasn't been great this year, too. I mean, Tanner Scott obviously signed that big deal. It's arguably the most coveted free agent reliever in all of baseball in the offseason. It's a 4.14 ERA and a 4.03 FIP this year. Just hasn't been great. I believe he leads all of baseball in blown saves to this point. It's not great, too. Just another pitching injury for the Dodgers. Just exactly what they needed to keep adding that payroll up there for them. And then for Colorado, Herman Marquez is scheduled to have an MRI on his right shoulder. He exited Sunday's start after 3 innings. Not great for them. Just a team that needs innings from a veteran guy like him. You're not really playing for anything. Just need people to eat those innings for him. So hopefully everything goes well there. And then, not injury related, but off the field related, Ketel Marte for the Diamondbacks said he lost $400,000 worth of items while his home was broken into while he was at the All-Star game. This was crazy to me because I feel like they got to get these things eventually, get it back. It's crazy. I mean, you're going to the All-Star game and you come back home and you have $400,000 worth of stuff missing. It's awful to hear. Even though you can pay for it and all that, you can afford it, but even still, that's a lot of stuff to get taken from you.
I agree. That sucks. And like I don't know. I feel like the athletes recently, a lot of athletes have been targeting of theft across all sports. One, a receiver on the 49ers, Ricky Pearsall, I'm pretty sure was shot in the chest, like not giving up a necklace outside the stadium or something ridiculous. Yeah, you had Ketel Marte got robbed. Chris Bryant, you said?
Yeah, he had his Lamborghini stolen from him.
And then there was one other robbery as well recently that I'm not remembering.
Joe Burrow.
Boy. Yes, Joe Burrow. Yes, Joe Burrow got do these people have big locks and cameras on their doors? Like, you're making a lot of money. Like, people know who you are. Your face is all over television. You got to obviously this sucks and it's scary. Like someone was in your home and just like went through your stuff and crazy. There are shitty people out there. There's such shitty people out there. The one thing before we go into the war draft segment, I do want to talk about what scenario is more likely to make you puke. Somehow the Dodgers pull off a trade with the Athletics and get Mason Miller, or they go and talk to St. Louis and acquire Helsley and Arenado in a swipe of a deal and giving some prospects up. We know St. Louis is trying to shed payroll and LA does not care about it. And they could use a third baseman. They've been running out Miguel Rojas and Tommy Edman at third.
For me, that is so clearly the A's and them getting Mason Miller from them. Just because you have I believe, 3 to 4 years of team control left on him, and you add in a dude who's, it seems like every single time he pitches, he's hitting 103, 104 miles an hour. I know his ERA has been inflated this year, but he's pitching at an awful ballpark to pitch in. I mean, look at any A's pitcher. Look at their home road splits. They're pretty drastic. I mean, we talked about before Severino, top 10 pitcher in baseball on the road. Arguably the worst pitcher at home in baseball this year. I believe he has almost close to a 6 ERA at home. He has like a 3.2 on the road, 3.5. So the Dodgers, the thing on Mason Miller, it's absurd too, especially because the Dodgers, they already have the super pen going into the year. It was already like they had an A team and a B team of pitching that was all major league caliber. Their bullpen was ridiculous. I mean, the DFA'd Ryan Brazier, who had like a sub 2 ERA for him last year, just so they could pick Gates. And now we're saying, oh, what if he went and got a Mason Miller? I mean, that would, in the postseason, it would be, I don't know how you beat any of their pitchers.
Yeah, dude, I just can't imagine the Dodgers getting Arenado and Helsley. Like, Arenado would be dude, it's Nolan Arenado. Imagine him hitting like 9th or 8th in this lineup. Like, it's a spark, man. It's Nolan Arenado. Let's not show the man total disrespect for how the season's gone. And then Ryan Helsley, that's an immediate spark into the bullpen, and they're looking to shop both. And the Dodgers, the thing that sucks is, yeah, they have a lot of payroll. They're also unlike a lot of teams where they got a lot of prospects and good ones. So, I would not be surprised if the Dodgers, when traded Michael Busch, acquired Zaire Hope and flipped him. I don't know if they would trade Zaire Hope for Helsley and Arenado. I think that they would have to get someone with a little bit more control or less age, but we'll see. I think the deadline's going to get super interesting here.
It for sure will be interesting. And the Dodgers can do any player on the market. The Dodgers could do that and still be perfectly fine with their farm.
So annoying. Every single time someone's like, oh, best fits for this player, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and Los Angeles Dodgers. It's like everyone has a home in LA. Let's go through the war draft. So, Hagen, you took a lot of time going through this. We haven't had a big update in a month and a half, probably, maybe even 2 months now. Why don't you read off top to bottom who's in first all the way to, first and worst 21, and starts with our fearless leader. Lead us off from there, though.
Yeah, for people who aren't aware, obviously we have this war draft here. It is based off F war, and we have 15 teams I believe. Each player had 10. They have 10 picks there, so 10 players per team. Starting off with Dean, he's got 21 war. Lewis coming in at second, 20.7. Then me at 20.6. Brett following me at 20.4. We got a tight race up here with Sam Fosberg as well at 20.1. OC is at 18.2. Nick's picks at 17.2. Toby Schulman, 17. Will from Overdue Sports, 16.4. Ethan from Running from the OPS, 15.9. James, 15.3. Then we have Jeb at 13.2. Grant from Database Hit at 12.6. Ben Weaver at 11.8. And Sam Horvath at 10.8. So we got a tight race here at the top, pretty tight in the middle as well. Obviously, Dean's team, it helps when you have Cal Raleigh. I believe it was the 3rd or 4th round he got him in. That was a big pick for him, and makes sense why he's at the top.
Dude, my team's, if Bregman weren't injured, Jackson Chirios just turned it up, and Caminero with Buxton has been nasty. Oh my, Tyler Fitzgerald, what a bad pick! What a bad pick by me. There's a bunch of bad picks. What's up?
I believe is in AAA right now.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's coming back up either. The way Willie Thomas is playing, why do they need him? Um,
I do have to plug that I got Pete Armstrong in the 5th round of that draft.
Dude, that might be the pick of the year. What's his WAR at right now currently? Is he at like a 6 or 7? He's at a
5.2.
5.2. Sorry, that's still nasty. Um, yeah, we definitely war draft, super fun. Highly encourage it to anyone. If you ever have questions, DM Hagen or I. Hagen virtually runs the war draft at this point for us, but it's a super fun thing to do. It's little checking. You have to update it once, honestly, and you draft. And next year we learned our lesson. We're doing the draft live. There's no way we're taking as long as we did this year to do it. But that, yeah, war draft sick. So we got a few. Usually we have one. This week we have a few eye-popping stats of the week. I found a lot of cool things that I wanted to talk about with you. So um, let's look at this. Let's talk about the big boys leading the pack. So right now in the history of MLB, and I'm gonna talk about this, I guess, from a homer standpoint of recency bias. I will admit that. So right now we got Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Eugenio Suarez, Shohei Ohtani, and Kyle Schwarber. 5 guys are projected to eclipse 50 or more home runs this year. In the history of Major League Baseball, no season has had more than 4 players hit 50 plus home runs. The 2 years that it did happen where 4 guys did it was 1998 and 2001, i.e., steroid era. And what I did notice is in 2001, Sean Green, Jim Tomei, and Todd Helton, they all hit 49. So they could have went from 4 to 7, which would have been like crazy. But Hagen, what does this say about the state of baseball right now? The fact that our home run production in the game right now is matching steroid era production.
I mean, obviously, I think it tells the talent of these hitters now. I think the strength as well, but obviously from the pitching side, I mean, pitchers are being thrown harder than ever. That's going to add more distance to a batted ball. And even too, I mean, we've seen guys like, I mean, Kyle Schwarber is one of the first 3 outcome guys that we really have. Like, I mean, it's the Gallo. It's a version of Joey Gallo. And he was probably the one of the first big guys, the 3 outcome guys in the recent era. But Schwarber does it the best. I mean, when was the last time you saw a leadoff hitter that could hit 210 and be a great hitter for you? But I think it just tells me that it kind of shows where we're at baseball wise, where it's we don't care how much. I mean, we have Geno Suarez and Kyle Schwarber on here. Normally aren't guys. Cal Raleigh even before this year as well. Those are 3 stereotypical guys who weren't going to hit for high averages, and they were going to sell and hit you 30 to 40 bombs a year. And that's what the teams wanted them to do too. So I think it's a good just kind of show where baseball's at this point. And then the Judge and Ohtani in there is just 2 of the greatest players ever played the game.
Yeah, and the reason why I made the statement of like I'm taking it from the recency bias because I am siding with how much more impressive this is right now than it was 20, 25 years ago. Because exactly what you said, pitchers are throwing harder. They are throwing more induced vertical break. They're doing more shape movement overall on all pitches, not just vertical break. They move the ball horizontally as well. Um, I think hitting is near impossible. That's why guys who hit 300 for their career, so 30% of the time, get into the Hall of Fame. And we have 5 guys right now that are on pace to break this. And I'm so hoping it happens. I think this would be crazy. 5 guys to hit north of 50 in the same year. It shows just the health of the game. This one I want to talk about was the catcher's interference this week. So only once has there been a walk-off on a catcher's interference. The second happened on Monday night. Carlos Narvaez of the Boston Red Sox committed the offense, I guess, or the foul, whatever you want to call it, against the Phillies. That's wild to see that's never happened before ever for a walk-off. This is the second time only it's happened. There's been a lot of baseball played. So shocking to see. And then finally, the Pirates. This one's more interesting, and let's phase out their last series against the Tigers where they swept them. This happened 4 or 5 games ago. So this was on Saturday for the Pirates. They lost the White Sox 10-4. they, as a result of this loss, their all-time record became 10,878 and 10,879. So they were one game below 500 through almost 36,000 games of their, not 36,000, 22,000 of their games. They were one game between 500. This is also the first time the franchise fell below 500 since 1903. So they've been a winning ball club in terms of history since 1903 before this happened. And then they lost again, and then they were 2 games below 500. Then they swept. So now they're back above 500 as a franchise through virtually 22,000 games and change. Hagen, how many games below 500 are they going to go by the end of the year? That's the real question.
I mean, I was just sitting here wondering because they're going to go under it. I would be very confident they're going to stay under that. I'd be pretty confident they're going to stay under that the next year. And I was wondering in my head, what year is it? Is it 2027? Where they just think of when's the next time the Pittsburgh's going to have a winning record in general, just as a team and just any regular season, not this all-time record. Because pretty much you're setting yourself at 500 now. I would like my money on that they're going to be on 500 team the rest of the season. I'd like my money looking ahead that they're going to do that next year as well. The year after that, I'd probably say when they have their prospects coming up, their hitter prospects, but I don't know. I did think this was a crazy step, but obviously they can win. Got to keep around just barely above a 500 pace to do the rest of the year, but they're also going to be selling off talent here at the deadline, so the team's going to get worse. Maybe you get the young guys come up and they give you a spark or whatever. Just guys playing for some jobs out here late in the season, got nothing to lose. But if anything, I would say they stay under it for a decent amount of time.
Dude, I don't know who caught that, but it's like, who's looking at teams' overall records from teams that were founded like 100 some odd plus years ago and think, oh wow, they're one game below 500, as a franchise. Weird stat. I'll thank Bleacher Report for that. They pointed that out in their newsletter. So good stuff. Anything else you want to talk about before we hop off here?
Just shout out Justin Verlander on his first win this season. I believe his 268th career win. And then happy birthday to my mom, who I know is listening to this. So I love you. Happy birthday.
Hell yeah. Happy birthday, Mrs. Snell. Your picture with her on Instagram looked great.
Thank you.
How tall are you, by the way? You look low-key tall. Damn. Yeah, you're tall. Good for you. All right. Bye.